Trump's EU trade deal. How 15% tariffs compared to pre-Trump era. 1.2%. What were the tariffs imposed by the European Union prior to Trump's presidency? Here's what you need to know following the recent trade agreement. Over the weekend, Trump finalized a trade agreement with the European Union, establishing a 15% tariff on a majority of European products. This agreement successfully avoided a previously threatened 30% tariff that Trump had announced earlier in July. Reports indicate that prior to Trump's administration, tariffs on EU goods were generally in the low single digits. During his visit to Scotland over the weekend of July 27th, President Donald Trump reached a significant trade agreement with the European Union. This deal was crucial as it set a 15% tariff on most goods imported from Europe, a move that came after Trump had previously threatened to impose a much steeper 30% tariff, which he intended to implement on August 1st. The agreement, which was announced after Trump's meeting with the President of the European Commission, also includes a commitment of $600 billion in EU investments in the United States. However, it is important to note that tariffs on steel and aluminum will remain elevated. Interestingly, the European negotiators had initially sought a 10% tariff rate, which would still have been an increase compared to the rates before Trump took office. This trade deal arrives as Trump approaches another deadline related to his April declaration of Liberation Day, which has been a recurring theme in his administration's trade policies. Since the last delay of reciprocal tariffs in July, Trump has also engaged in trade agreements with several other nations. But how does the tariff rate established in this new deal stack up against the trade dynamics between the U.S. and the EU prior to the fluctuating tariffs that have characterized Trump's second term? What were the tariffs on EU goods before Trump took office? Before Trump assumed office, the tariffs on goods imported from Europe to the U.S. were considerably lower, averaging in the low single digits. According to the New York Times, the average tariff rate on European imports was around 1.2% before Trump's presidency, as reported by CNN. Trump has consistently criticized the EU, claiming that the trade deficit was designed to disadvantage the United States. So, what exactly are tariffs? A tariff is essentially a tax levied on imports, which businesses must pay when purchasing goods from overseas. Typically, this cost is then passed on to consumers. Despite the increase in tariff rates, the market reacted positively, with U.S. stock futures rising the morning after the announcement of the deal. The looming August 1 deadline imposed by Trump is significant for many countries. Trump designated April 1st as Liberation Day when he announced extensive tariffs on imports from various countries, with rates ranging from a baseline of 10% to as high as 50% in certain cases. Shortly thereafter, he suspended most rates exceeding 10% for a period of 90 days. That initial 90-day period concluded on July 9th. But Trump extended the deadline once more and began sending out notifications regarding new tariff rates on exports from other nations. In this second extension, he confirmed that the new deadline would be August 1st, asserting that this date would remain unchanged. The agreement with the EU, which consists of 27 member countries and represents one of the largest economies globally, mirrors other recent trade agreements made with significant partners like Japan. Contributors to this report include Savannah Kuchar, Bart Jansen, and Medora Lee from USA Today. Kinsey Crowley serves as the Trump Connect reporter for the USA Today network. You can reach her at kcrowley@gannett.com. Follow her on X and TikTok at Kinsey Crowley or on Blue Sky at kinseycrowley.bsky.social.